T.I.'s son, King. King Harris has been arrested after not appearing in court and some other things connected to his action.
Trying to coddle him for. Let the man walk out, have some time to himself, sit down, soak it up, and come up with what he need to do.
King Harris is 20 years old, but tonight he's lying in an Atlanta ICU with family in shambles and the world on edge. We all saw the headlines, a jailhouse altercation after his arrest in Dunwoody, but even that phrase barely scratches the surface of the chaos that's now swirling. Let's go back just a few hours. King was driving his BMW, nearly clipped a police cruiser, pulling out of a gas station, and according to the officers, the air was thick with a certain suspicious aroma. They spotted a firearm on his hip, checked his name, and up pops a bench warrant from Pickens County, tying straight back to an August 2022 DUI, a suspended license, a string of bad decisions. In September, that warrant went active after he skipped arraignment, making this not just another celebrity's kid caught with a little smoke, but a messy paper trail that snapped shut like a bear trap. He was moved between counties in less than a day, Dunwoody, DeKalb, then Pickens, and somewhere between the steel bars and the police station handshake, something broke bad. Hours later, King was rushed to the hospital, comatose, with frantic whispers that this wasn't a simple brawl gone wrong.
So the dynamics here are interesting, but I can't judge how the parenting is gone, because everything that we've seen has been stuff that many of us would have said or similar if we saw our children do this. But I will say this, a lot of what's happening is because it's in the public. Like most children don't have to do this in the public.
Officials tried to sell the story as a scuffle behind bars, but none of it fits the clock. How does a high-profile, non-violent offender land in intensive care within hours of being moved, while guards claim they saw nothing? There's no mugshot, no perp walk, just a family empire now hanging by a thread. And this isn't just any family. King is the heir to the Harris legacy, the son of T.I., the self-proclaimed king of the South, and Tiny, the velvet-voiced icon of Escape. What's on the line here isn't just one reckless youth. It's the public collapse of a dynasty that once turned reality TV into a family business and made hustle a brand. The spiral has been visible for months. Remember last November? The viral drama at Mercedes-Benz Stadium wasn't just a father-son spat. It was T.I. caught on camera, wrestling his son into a headlock after King, live on Instagram, insisted he didn't grow up with a silver spoon. T.I. holding a championship-level poker face tossed back, "King, have you ever woke up with a roach on your face?" But the punchline curdled as Tiny, ever the blunt mother, jumped in to announce to the suite and everyone on live stream, "He can suck a pacifier over there." 12 years old, he was still doing that. King, red-faced and howling, wouldn't let up, shouting about hardship, family lies, accusing his parents of drinking too much, even as his mother tried to pull him away by the neck. The whole scene ended with T.I.'s jaw locked, muttering, "You are embarrassing yourself," as King thrashed and the phone cameras spun. This wasn't family hustle. It was a slow-motion, public unraveling.
So him being arrested isn't really like the shocker. It's him coming out and his, I guess, reaction to it, right? Because everybody's saying, "King, you grew up privileged, bro. Why are you going down this path?" Now he's talking about F the police, F12. So, he just don't care.
But it wasn't a one-off. In September, just weeks before the arrest, King posted a close-up of his own eye ringed with a fresh, angry welt. "Still got my chain," he wrote, adding those now iconic laughing emojis. He played it cool, but fans and insiders didn't buy it. 2 days before, he'd gone live, rapping while driving with smoke curling around the dashboard, and his grandmother, Tiny's mother, the rock of the family, left a comment pleading, "Stop smoking so much, son." Has been at King shot back, "I'm sorry, Mama, I love you." But the tension sat in the air, sharp as the odor in that BMW. This is a young man who grew up with 7 siblings, surrounded by spotlights and cameras, but somehow still managed to carve out a rep for chaos. The family wanted us to see a normal, loving unit. The world just kept seeing cracks.
Discrediting and trying to take shit I done did and be like, "Nah, it ain't good." Like, you can't do that. You can't do that. That's like...
And then came the October baby shower, a Simba-themed extravaganza for King and his partner Janija Epps, with Tiny beaming in every video, tables draped in gold, 2-tier cakes, portraits from a glossy maternity shoot, and a post from Tiny that seemed almost too proud. "My baby is having a baby!" "I'm too geeked about my grandson coming." We watched a dynasty gearing up for the next generation, the show of stability. But even as the blue and gold balloons fell, the shadow of rumors grew longer. It didn't help that as soon as the baby was born, social media lit up with drama, claims of paternity tests, TikTokers hinting at secret DNA results, accusations that King wasn't really the father. Tiny went on Instagram to swat it all down, asking, How in the hell would this person know anything about what we did or did not do? But the stress lines were already etched on every face. The timing could not have been crueler. In July, just as the Harris family was toasting their reality show anniversaries and T.I. was posting about forever love on the sands of Phuket, a familiar name to anyone following the Harris legal saga, stormed back onto Instagram. She lobbed the ultimate grenade, saying she had human trafficking receipts, implicating T.I., Tiny, and even King himself. Her post landed with a bang. The feds already have this. I think the fans need it. This wasn't just a decades-old grudge. It was a ticking time bomb laced with threats of leaked messages, stories of young women, alleged forced substances, and claims of family-wide conspiracy. The legal cases had already gotten real enough. Over 15 people had come forward in previous years, enough for MTV to cancel the Family Hustle spinoff, enough for multiple DA offices to open and then quietly drop investigations when the clock ran out. T.I. and Tiny never budged. We are innocent of these fake claims. We will not be shaken down. But as the lawsuits multiplied and Sabrina kept posting, the world started watching the Harris children a little more closely. King most of all.
Yes, that's right. Lawyer Tyrone Blackburn is going to authorities, asking and encouraging state and federal prosecutors to start a criminal investigation into T.I. and Tamika Harris, aka Tiny, on behalf of 11 accusers.
The dissonance between public celebration and private crisis reached its breaking point, just as T.I. and Tiny marked 15 years of marriage. Instagram glowed with couple selfies from Thailand. Tiny showing off a jeweled necklace, T.I. waxing poetic about the love of my life and fighting for each other through the tough times. But even as the world double-tapped on their fairy tale captions, the dark cloud over King kept thickening. Fans could sense it. One moment T.I. was making promises to his unborn grandson, I'm gonna make this the greatest gangster of all time. The next, his own son was live streaming chaos from an NFL suite and posting bruises with a smirk. The collapse was moving fast, and now, with King hooked up to machines in Grady Memorial's ICU, Atlanta's rumor mill has spun out of control. Insiders claim there's more at play than an ordinary jail fight. We're hearing that masked intruders were spotted near King's room, that a nurse reported strange men in maintenance uniforms loitering outside the ward, and that the hospital security cameras went mysteriously dark for a crucial 20-minute window. Administrators have gone radio silent.
What we're not gonna do is open up the door to my bedroom, as you shouldn't have to either. Open up the door to my bedroom for everybody to come in, chime in, and make their opinions about what we do and don't do or should or shouldn't do. But I will say this, whatever we ever have done has been done with consensual adults.
T.I., usually a master of PR spin, was reportedly seen in the hallway smashing a chair against the wall. Tiny, who just weeks ago was celebrating a new grandchild, has been spotted sobbing into her hands, begging nurses for answers. The whispers get darker. Allegations that King's ventilator was tampered with, that a second round of life support machines failed, just as an unmarked black van was caught on the lot security feed, only for the footage to go missing by morning. None of this is confirmed, of course, but in a city where every insider has a cousin at the hospital, the rumors feel as real as the white noise outside the ICU doors. The streets are asking, was this just a tragic consequence of a wild life and a violent brawl, or the opening shot in something bigger, a calculated move to bring down the Harris line once and for all? My calculator was in somebody's hands. It was just a little bit inviolate an enormous risk. It's impossible to stand in this moment and not feel the weight of every shadow that's dogged the Harris name. King's battle for life is only the latest, darkest headline in a saga where every attempt at closure seems to spawn a new scandal. We all remember where this storm truly started. January 2021, Sabrina Peterson, once a close friend of the family, took to social media and accused T.I. of holding her at gunpoint. That single claim turned the Harris brand radioactive overnight. Within days, her DMS filled up with stories from more than 15 women, allegations ranging from forced substances to late-night coercion to young women waking up not knowing how they got home. Peterson dropped screenshots, hinted at videos, then handed the ball to a small army of attorneys. Suddenly, LA police were reviewing assault allegations from 2005. Nevada was fielding complaints from as far back as 2010, but the legal system has a clock and it was ticking in the Harris' favor. Prosecutors in Los Angeles and Vegas looked at the timelines, looked at the stories, and finally shrugged. Out of time, no charges. The news cycle spun on, but the stench lingered.
Steve Sadar reached out to me looking to make a deal on behalf of T.I. and Tiny. And I told Steve Sadar that my clients want justice. So if the deal involves Tiny and T.I. turning themselves in and admitting to the crime that they've committed, then fine, we got a deal. But if it does not, then I would prefer to have the investigators do their work and to bring criminal charges against Tiny and T.I.
For every legal win, there was a new gut punch. When Peterson tried to sue T.I. and Tiny for defamation, it ended in March with the court siding against her and ordering her to pay nearly $97,000 in legal fees. But as soon as the ink dried, new lawsuits sprouted up, this time under California's Abuse and Cover-Up Accountability Act, a statute that reopened the doors for civil suits even when criminal charges had been timed out. The Harrises kept denying everything, calling the stories fake, saying the claims changed every time they were told. But each time the courtroom doors opened, the family name took another bruise.
Been able to do that if it wasn't for Family Hustle.
Right.
Now, it does come with some, it's some adversity. It's some adversity to come with that. People get in your bed.
The irony, if anyone can still stomach it, is that T.I. himself warned us about this moment years ago. Back when he started calling himself King of the South, he talked about it like a chessboard, not a throne. In chess, the object is to capture the king, he said. Every peer warned him, if you claim the crown, you become the target. Ain't nobody gonna be trying to help you out with nothing, so just be careful what you ask for. Decades later, the prophecy feels less like a metaphor and more like a curse, hanging over the family. Even when T.I. tried to go high, posting Instagram sermons about a beautiful day to not spread lies, the words echoed hollow against the avalanche of whispers online.
Me and my dad, man, we had a relationship. Like, it was like, to the point to where he know me, I know you. But it was almost like Ghost and Tariq in Power, bro.
What makes King's story even more combustible is the psychological duel that's played out between him and T.I. right in front of the cameras and sometimes millions of online witnesses. Their most infamous showdown, the now notorious Falcons game altercation, was more than just viral spectacle. We saw T.I., the self-made patriarch, leaning in with the confidence of someone who's weathered decades of public scandal, poking fun at his own son for needing a pacifier until the age of 12. Meanwhile, King, cheeks burning with humiliation, yelled that he stands on business, shoving back against the narrative that he'd ever been soft or sheltered. The headlock that followed wasn't just a physical squabble. It felt like the torch being yanked away before King could even grasp it, a father sending a message. Legacy isn't inherited, it's taken. Or denied. This wasn't a one-off clash, but an eruption of years of tension between two generations wrestling for control of the Harris name. King's need to prove he was cut from harder cloth, his insistence that he grew up in the trenches, not behind mansion gates, seemed to escalate every time T.I. tried to force him back into the role of Silver Spoon's celebrity son. The more King boasted about surviving hardships, posting cryptic photos of black eyes or bragging about altercations, the more his father tried to drag him back toward the family's curated image of hustle, discipline, and control. For their audience, it was irresistible theater. But for the family, it was an ongoing identity crisis that played out at the intersection of fame, masculinity, and generational pride.
They're saying, no, you're not this, you're not this. And then I'm going to him saying, bro, why you doing that? Why you even doing that? He like, bro, the point is to make them think that you're not this. That's the whole goal.
All of it only made King more of a magnet for controversy. The public watched him push back against his parents' version of his childhood, saw him try to write his own legend in defiance of the empire he was born into. Every misstep, each arrest, each viral outburst, each cryptic social post fed the cycle of tabloid scrutiny, but it also deepened the mythology around his downfall. In the Harris world, this wasn't just the collapse of a troubled youth. It was a battle for succession, a struggle to define what strength and survival look like in a family where the crown is always up for grabs.
Our issue with King. First off, the kid's a menace, right? He goes around. No, I'm serious. Yo, King, listen. King goes around terrorizing the community of Atlanta, bro. That's a fact, bro. I'm serious, bro.
Lately, the rumors have grown teeth. Mean, institutional, faceless. 3 sources with ties to the Atlanta hip-hop scene insist that King's ICU blood panels showed traces of unapproved toxins, something no doctor at Grady Memorial would explain. One insider claims it's not just a family feud gone sideways, but industry politics at their most vicious. There were a lot of people worried about King's next mixtape. One former road manager told us he was talking about dropping names, not just rappers, executives. The theory is ugly, but the details fit too neatly to ignore. The label hasn't commented, the hospital refuses to answer questions, but the city is buzzing. Did someone want King silenced before he could go public with whatever he knew? Or are we just seeing patterns in smoke? The chaos has spilled far beyond the hospital's locked doors. Over the last 48 hours, Grady Memorial has been ringed with protesters. Fans waving hand-painted signs that read, "Protect King," and "No more setups." Mothers pushing strollers next to hardened activists in vintage family hustle shirt. The crowd swelled so fast, Atlanta PD had to send in riot gear. Helicopters have circled non-stop, cameras scanning the lawn for a glimpse of Tiny or T.I., who are rumored to be sleeping in the waiting room. At sunset, the chants echo up the glass facade, rattling the ICU windows. "Let King live, let King live." Inside, the mood is raw. Reports from hospital staff say the family has been briefed about all outcomes. One source says the doctors are using words like prepare, like decisions. No one will say it out loud, but we all know what it means.
Any actor would tell you when the camera's on, you get into character. You get into, you know what I'm saying? And the thing about reality, it's all real, it's all natural, but some things are, you know what I'm saying? Some things are needed for the climax and the rising of the episodes and stuff like that. So sometimes...
Yet something even larger is building. King is no longer just another embattled celebrity's son. In the public square, he's become a symbol for every young Black artist chewed up by an industry that smiles for the cameras while sharpening knives backstage. Social feeds have filled with montages of King's childhood, clips of his wildest moments, but also slow, heartbreaking edits showing his young son's baby shower, Tiny's teary-eyed hugs, and T.I.'s rare public vulnerability. And the narrative has shifted. The struggle for his life is now framed as a fight against a system that covers for the powerful and buries anyone inconvenient enough to speak out. Is it a stretch? Maybe. But for tens of thousands chanting on the street, the family's pain is no longer just theirs. Then, just as the rumors seem about to exhaust themselves, a final shot across the bow leaks out. A recording so chilling it hardly needs context. Allegedly, it's a Georgia corrections officer, voice distorted but words crystal clear. If the boy talks, everything crumbles. He can't walk out of there alive. It's a short clip, but it's already circulating like wildfire. Some say it's an angry guard venting into a phone, nothing more. Others whisper that it's the smoking gun, a sign that someone, somewhere, orchestrated this chaos to make sure King Harris would never leave that jail cell, let alone a hospital bed.
Top royalty accused of drugging and assaulting women. Rapper, actor, and businessman Clifford T.I. Harris, along with his wife, Tamika Tiny Cottle, they're being named in a massive lawsuit.
So now we're left holding the pieces, staring at a puzzle that only gets darker the closer we look. Was King just another victim of bad luck and family drama? Or did he stumble into secrets worth silencing? Will T.I. and Tiny's empire survive if the truth finally spills out? And what's waiting for this dynasty? Redemption or total ruin? Let us know in the comments below what you think really happened behind those hospital walls. This story is far from over, and trust us, we'll be here when the next secret drops. Until then, keep your eyes open and your receipts ready, because in this family's world, the final move is always up for grabs.